Hello, everyone. I'm Damon. This is my mom, Cynthia.
Hi.
We're here to help you guys beat foreclosure. For staying tuned, and at this point, I'm sure you've hit the subscribe button to our YouTube page. In our first few videos, we've introduced ourselves and we've talked about if you wanted to try to sell your property or work things out on your own without any help. That was, I think, our second video. Our last video, we just talked about the loan modification process.
Right.
If you wanted to go that route and see if you could work with a lender to try to get some favorable terms. And on this video, I think we're going to be talking about if that process didn't go as planned or the way that you wanted, how we can help you possibly getting a cash offer for your home.
Right. Why don't you show them from the website one of the reasons to work with us?
Absolutely. So let's have fun with this. I love doing screen share. This is always fun. I should be able to see that now. This is our YouTube page. If you scroll over to the right, there at the time of this recording is a link to the website that you can click on and it'll take you up to our company page. So I will click over, and then this gives us a bunch of reasons why you would like to work with us or what makes us unique.
Right.
So first of all, we can get you an all cash offer. Second of all, we're going to buy the house. We're offering
regardless of the condition, no repairs.
Contingencies, no repairs, right? There's would be a fast closing in under 30 days.
Don't have to pay escrow costs. We would pay those.
We are real people.
I think so.
Last time we checked, we're real people. We believe in fairness and we're easy to work with. Those are some of the reasons there that you would want to work with us.
And you don't have to have any open houses. That if you tried to already sell your house and it didn't sell, you know that that's an exhausting process too. And it's a lot faster. That's one of the things. It's said and done, and we can get that finished very quickly.
A lot of the times what happens once you get into that pre-foreclosure status, it sort of becomes public record, and I hear a lot of feedback that people will get 10 calls a day.
Right. Often when we talk to somebody, they go, oh, I don't even answer the phone anymore. There's so many people that are big lenders, big money, that want to come in and make offers.
And we're not trying to pull any punches or have any secrets with you. Investors usually use the same formula,
right,
when they come in to make that offer to you. And a lot of people will get really mad about it and they'll say, oh, I got one lowball offer after another. The idea being that these investors are going to come in, they're going to need room to make money on the property. Right. There's no reason for them to come in. You may be the nicest people in the world. They may think you're fantastic, but at the end of the day, it's all about dollars, and they have these specific formulas that they follow, and they have to have enough room built in for them to want to invest their money, especially
and take a risk.
Take the risk with the market changing the way it is, and with a lot of these investors too, there are a lot of costs that are involved. I mean, there are costs for them of even, they've got to take out a loan half the time to get into these proproperties. So right. There are a ton of costs for them as well.
Yes.
So I mean, I can give them like a
just
simple
do an
example. I think I have to go back to screen share. Let's bring up the calculator, and hopefully you guys can see the calculator. Right. So let's just say, for an example, that your house is worth $500,000. And I say that because I think the average price across the country is in the 3 or 4s now. I think it's 300 and something. But let's just say, in California, and again, we're in a very bizarre market here, our average price of properties in Orange County is over $1 million. So I'm just using this as a hypothetical. So you're going to use, let's just say, the 500,000. There's a formula, and the formula, like I said, I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. It's around 65 to 70%. So just to make the calculation somewhat easy, let's just go 70%. So on that 500, you're going to be at 350. So that's right there going to give them that 30% margin from retail value so that they can have room to make money. But now we have to put extra costs. Let's put the rehab cost in there. And this is, again, in our hypothetical. Let's say that the house is in pretty good shape, doesn't need a lot of work. Let's say modestly. What should we plug in? 30,000?
15. Just say just needs some paint.
So,
and
all
a
right.
floor.
Okay, so let's just put in 15,000. So from that 350, so it went from 350
Take away 15,000.
minus the 15. Just bear with me here. We should be down to 335, which we are. So that would be your rehab costs. And then on the back end of it, you got to figure, as I mentioned earlier, there are carrying costs for most investors and closing costs, which you can ballpark at, let's say 10%.
Right.
So let's say 10% of that is 30 some odd thousand. So let's just make the math simple there, and let's take the 35,000 off of there to get us down to 300. So there we are. Let's look at that. So we started at 500 with all of those costs. Now you could expect, so, and I'm just doing the math in my head here, we're at about 60% right there. So with those rehab costs and the extra closing costs, I'm at 300 from our hypothetical 500. So that's 60% roughly. So as I mentioned before,
that's about what you could expect.
People are like,
from a cash offer.
And again, depending on the market, we've had a lot of people that think that they deserve retail numbers and full price, full market value numbers. And again, it depends on which market you're in, how hot the market is, what the average day is on. There's so many factors that go into it. But using those basic formulas is how we come up with those numbers, just so you're not in shock. Because most people think, oh, they're just trying to lowball me, but there has to be room for it to be profitable for an investor.
And I've had a design company for over 20 years, and people will say to us, well, the house is perfect. It's ready to go on the market. It doesn't have to have anything. And we come and see the house, and there's just a lot of work that needs to be done in order to have the buyer want to buy that house. Because young people today are all
turnkey.
They want absolute turnkey. They don't have the time, the energy. There are moms that are working, and they do not have the construction skills and ability. So always there's, if you look at the landscaping, the condition of the pool, the flooring, the paint, and the appliances, the age of things, there's always work that needs to be done, which is why people expect, they go online and they see, oh, the houses in the neighborhood are selling for X number of dollars and that's what they want. Well, you're not going to really get cash offers at that level. But the thing that we like to focus, and there could be liens against the house, there could be back taxes, there are a lot of other things, which is why
and all of that has to be taken care of
by whoever is purchasing it.
That's
the risk that you take, and then you're taking the risk on whatever the market is. So one of the things that we try to deal with, we've actually had one situation where someone had a house that we could offer them enough money to pay off their loan and to pay off a lien that was on the house and to pay off all but $7,000 of their personal bills. So that allowed them to have some equity then that they could go, and they wanted to move to Texas. So it's an individual thing. It just depends on how much you owe in the mortgage that wasn't paid, what is your existing loan that still has to be paid off, any taxes, repair work on the house. And so that's one of the reasons that we say, gosh, we'd really love to talk to you. We would love to know your circumstances, what it is that you want to accomplish.
And we're transparent about everything. That's the whole thing. I mean, that's why I have no issue at all. I have a big network of friends and investors of it. Why are you telling them percentages like that? Well, I'm being as honest as possible. I don't want you guys to feel like we're hiding anything from you. That's just industry standard.
What the costs are, period. Yes. And of course, no matter who purchases it, if you get a cash offer, because they are taking the risk, they're taking all the closing costs, expenses, and what have you. They have to be able to make something, or it's not worth their time. They simply won't deal with that circumstance. So we need to talk to you, meet you on Zoom, see what your goals are, what it is you want to accomplish.
And again, the idea being that we're trying to make it a win-win for everyone involved.
Right.
That's the whole point, is that we're not trying to make a killing on this. We're trying to help you. That's the whole point of it. You're in a situation where you may need some help, and good for you for making the first step of reaching out, because there are a lot of people that don't want to deal with reality.
Over 300,000 that just went to foreclosure last year. I mean, that is unbelievable to me.
And we're trying to be positive and hopeful. There are a lot of doom and gloom people out there that say the you know what is hitting the fan in the next couple of months. And see just unbelievable numbers happening. So we're here to help you.
It's a chance to individually look, and we would tell you, this is the absolute most we think you'll be able to get. This is what has to be done for it to sell. Like I say, I have flipped houses and I know what it takes. And that's one of the reasons when you decide you think you would like to go ahead and try to sell the house by yourself, most of the time those houses don't sell. They're still, they go on the multiple listing service, and sometimes even then they don't sell. So
again, though, they need to know that they have options. Everyone has options here. And again, I've mentioned before, I'm also a realtor. I'm not pushing that, but even if you wanted to go that route and need help doing the retail route, we can go that route as well.
And you might ask yourself, so why are we doing what we're doing here right now? That is because the difference in our small company and some of the other people that are going to be trying to get you to take a cash offer from them, perhaps, is that we are not going to call you. We are not going to bug you. We are not going to be badgering anybody. We will only work with you if you have looked at other options, tried the other things that we've suggested before you even talk to us, because those are to your advantage, for sure. So just take a breath, stay hopeful, know that there is a buyer out there, and rather than lose everything, sometimes we've worked with reverse mortgages and all kinds of situations. So we do understand that each house has its own set of circumstances.
Right, exactly.
Yes. So we'd love to chat.
So yeah, if you haven't hit the subscribe button on the YouTube page, go ahead and do that. Hit the notification tab. That'll let you know when we have new content, coming out. And we would love to hear from you. On the About section there, I have my cell phone number. I don't know how how many other companies are going to put in their cell phone number. So if you click or call, shoot me a text.
And let him know that you're going to be
Send
calling,
me an email.
because we get an awful lot of
You're going to be
calls.
dealing directly with me. We're not such a big company that you're going to be pawned off to someone else. You're going to be dealing with us. So we would love to hear from you.
And if you have questions, send those, email those, or text those to that phone number. And that helps us know what we should be addressing, what kind of questions. If there's something that you need to know that we're not addressing here, we really would appreciate that and like to know that. So give us those questions too.
All right, excellent. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next video. And let's help you beat foreclosure. Thank you. God bless.
Thanks. Bye-bye.